Okay, I trimmed it a little bit here and there. I had to rebend this flange because it wasn't in the right place, but at the end it worked. So that's how it needs to be. So anyways, I'm just gonna clean the old metal here and I'm gonna weld it. And then we're gonna be able to move to this inner fender that needs attention as well. Okay, I tacked it in place. So I'm not gonna weld it. There's a big-ish gap there that we're gonna fill, no problem, but the rest is fine. And I'm not gonna weld it now. I'm gonna weld it from underneath when the car goes to its side. I painted here before I mated them. So now I'm gonna paint this flange as well, and this of course. And we're gonna continue with this. Oh, actually, I can trim here first. So now I can trim it to the correct height here. We're gonna spot weld it in a few places. I'll see if I can pinch here as well and spot weld this. Okay, cool. Even there I was able to put 2 spot welds, so we're done. So finally, let's focus on this inner fender now. Alright, I exchanged my stellar Tua pattern to a metal piece. Now we don't need the paper anymore. Okay, so all I'm trying to do now here is take this shape all the way up there though, because we have a repair up there that we need to do. So anyways, I want to cut this shape. And now I can take it out, make this on the bead roller, and then we can put it back. We're gonna get rid of this piece, obviously. We're gonna mark exactly where to cut this here, exactly where to cut it here, and then we're gonna put it and we're gonna weld it, all this. And only after that we can cut the external shape. Actually here we need to bend a piece like this, because that's how the pattern goes. So the wheel well here is part of this piece as well. So we're gonna need to make this bend, and of course this after that needs to come also this way, and like there's a rolled edge, but we're gonna make that separately. This shape doesn't really matter, we can make it even straight. It's important the bend to be in the right place, because I'll show you, because it needs to match this here, you know? And that's going to be seen from the wheel well. So we're going to mark that later. First, let's deal with this. We don't need that anymore. Everything matches like a glove. That's surprising. This fits here properly, so now we're just gonna mark it and we're gonna cut it. We're gonna trim this, of course, this line. It also matches up there, more or less. You can actually see better than me. So we're gonna trim our piece here as well. So once it's trimmed, we're gonna put it back in, we're gonna clamp it, and then we're gonna mark this bend where it needs to be. We can go in the back and mark it from here. And then we're gonna be able to weld it. Then we're gonna spot weld it here to the other side, to the floor. So that's the game plan. Alright, so I marked this line that we need to bend on, but the problem is that this line is not straight. It has a very slight curve on it. So I think I'm gonna do the same what I did on the other side. I just will cut this and we will weld another piece to that, but with the shape. It's not gonna take long. It's actually faster and easier that way. Okay, so I straightened this line and now we can bend this to the shape that we want, and we can weld them inside and outside to create a lot of meat here, so then we can grind on the outside and make it a little bit round, because that's how it is in the car. Okay, so it fits well, and we actually have enough meat here to bend this way as well. However, we need to be able to mark that somehow. So this needs to match this shape, more or less, right? Alright, so I made this template that fits exactly the opening now. I don't know if you can see if I bring you here, but it doesn't need to be perfectly correct. It needs to be more or less, because our bend needs to happen a little bit further in. So you see how the bend on the inner wheel, like it doesn't come all the way to the metal, to the outer metal and then bends. It starts a little bit before that, especially here, there's like a 1/4 inch. So we don't need to bend it exactly on the line. We can start anywhere before that line. So if we put this back here, and we put this here, we can mark a line, but it can actually be a little bit further in. Alright, so let's say the bend needs to happen here. So we're gonna cut a flange like this. Doesn't matter how long, because we're gonna have to weld another flange to this one later. I'll show you what I mean. I'm gonna freehand it. It doesn't need to be perfect, you know. Alright, so I cut it a little bit too short here. I shouldn't have, so I fixed it, extended it again, and here I rebent this line a little bit further out. because it wasn't matching the existing part of the wheel well. And this corner actually I have to grind, and now it should fit. Almost like a glove. Okay, I'm happy with that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna paint here the back where it's gonna meet this flange. I think I'm gonna have to drill some holes for spot welds, for plug welds here, right? Because I can't, yeah. I think that should make it. Even though on this side we have welds. And anywhere else here all over the place we can put spot welds. So that's everything. So I'm gonna paint it, I'm gonna drill holes, I'm gonna clean here and here where I'm gonna be welding, and then I'm gonna weld it and I'll show you the result, I guess. Okay, so it's all welded. This matched perfectly here. I'm not gonna grind this. This also matched pretty well up there. Let's see from inside. So that's what it looks like inside. I'm just gonna grind this spike here a little bit, but it looks like original, doesn't it? Okay, all the spot welds are done underneath. Now there's a hole here. There must be a drain hole right here somewhere, which I haven't done on the other side, I think. Yep. But that we can do from underneath. But since I remembered about this one, we're gonna do it now. So to figure its position, I'm not gonna go and measure. I'm pretty sure I have this hole on my Spitfire, but I'm not gonna go and measure. Doesn't need to be perfect. It's important to be as low as possible because it's a drain hole, you know. So you see how the clickers are coming so handy here, because we can always position this panel the same way as we initially put it. So we have a flange here. So just above the flange, at the lowest spot, that's where I'm gonna make the hole. Didn't even scratch the surface. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm not gonna make the hole. Honestly, I don't think, because this hole is meant to be plugged with a rubber plug. So whenever you want to drain a water here, you just unplug it from underneath, drain the water, and then plug it again. Well, nowadays we can just shove the vacuum cleaner inside and vacuum this pocket. I shouldn't have started here. I'm gonna weld this hole shut, and we're not gonna make any more holes. Alright, so I trimmed the bottom where the line was, and I installed the panel again, and now we can take a look inside and see how we're gonna repair this and continue that bend underneath that we said before we weld this permanently here. So if you take a look here, I don't know how well you can see. I hope that it is pretty self-explanatory. So we need to extend this to come this way and make a flange to match this flange here, and that's all the way up there. Okay, so there are problems here all over the wheel arch, but we're gonna address this later. So for now, we're just gonna replace the flange from here all the way down to there. for this we're gonna have to make the flange first, right? So it needs to be somewhere about a foot, so a little bit longer than 12 inches. And I'm gonna make the arms 1.5 inches. So we're gonna make 1.5 inches by 3/4. So 1.5 inches, 3/4 straight line of 12 inches, and then we're gonna bend it because it needs to match this curve, and also it will need to match this curve, so we're gonna have to bend it in 2 directions. So let me get it ready and I'll meet you at the shrinker stretcher. Alright, I moved the shrinker stretcher here so you can see both of them and eventually where we're going there, so I don't need to move the camera all the time. Well, that's how it is. Let's try and make this curve first. And for this curve, I'm gonna put back the thing here. Even with just one click, it's fine. So let's start stretching this flange here. This the part is more or less straight. The upper part is here. Here, over there. Up there. It will work here. I think we're there. All right. The way I cut it, I didn't even mark it. I just cut it. I eyeballed it, and it turns out it's in the exact spot here. So, good thing I didn't cut it too short. But look at this now. The flange matches nicely. This flange of the black piece matches here the old wheel well, and inside. Now we can just mark here all the way down there and trim our new piece, and then we can weld it to our other repairs. So we can cut it here, trim this, make a bend here, and then we're gonna weld it here. That's actually pretty good, eh? However, I think we need to bend it more here. Yeah. I think we just need to bend it a little bit more here. I'm gonna shrink right here. Yes. Now you see how it follows our curves here. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just tuck it in maybe 2 or 3 places, and I'm gonna fit that again. This is in the wrong place again. How come? That's better. Okay, I'm gonna tuck it in a few places and fit the outer panel to make sure that everything is okay, and then we're gonna weld it. Okay, beautiful. This matches, it still matches here, everything, so let's weld it. All right, it's welded, and it looks like original, doesn't it? Okay, so we're done with underneath repairs, or whatever we want to call them. So now I'm gonna paint all that, and we can actually install this panel finally. Well, I still haven't decided whether to do a joggle weld or cut it and make a butt weld. I don't know. We will decide a little bit later. But yeah, we can put this panel now and make a patch for here as well, which I'm not gonna make. I'm gonna use part of the wheel arch that we bought. It's not worth wasting time making it when we have the wheel arch. All right, so that's all painted. I mean, primered, and here This part, I decided that I'm gonna do a jogger weld, so I cleaned up where the weld is gonna be, because whatever this is, it's really hard to weld. I also cleaned here where we're gonna be doing spot welds, both sides, but this side I'm gonna primer now with weld through primer. And I also drilled holes here for plug welds. And now I'm gonna paint whatever I need to paint. Maybe while it dries, I'm gonna start making a patch for there. So I went to look for the wheel arch so I can cut a piece for here, and it turns out that we didn't order it. And it makes sense because I probably thought that I was gonna make a patch for here. So here we are, we're gonna have to make our own patch, which is not a big deal. So we need to make that shape, and I'm already thinking how to make that shape, because it has a curve this way, it has a curve this way, and it has this curve here too. So you know what I think? We can make it in two pieces. We can make this wall and this wall in one piece that we can do on the shrinker stretcher, and then this piece with this curve we can make separately. So I know for a fact that I can make this part, this wall and this wall, to come here. That's not a problem. We can do that. This is the part where I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to do it, because it has a curve this way and it also has a curve this way. So I think I'm gonna try to do this part first and see if it works. If it doesn't, then we're gonna think about a different way. So here, if you notice, this is where this shape disappears, comes to zero here. So it narrows down, and here we still have a little bit of it. So the curve is not the same from one end to the other. That's also a tricky part. So if I put this piece here, so this is more or less how this curve needs to go, I guess. Oh wow, that's not bad. Not bad at all. I'm gonna cut it here. This curve is what's missing. Well, actually there is curve here, but is there more? I'm gonna cut it here so I can fit it inside. Can you see? It's a straight line. It needs to be, this needs to go down, this needs to go up. So I need this to bend like this. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop with this for now, and we're gonna make the other patch for here. Okay, and I made this piece, which you can see it has very slight angle this way and a very slight angle this way. So when I put it there like this, it is exactly what I need, I think. So now I just need to trim it with this length. Okay, I think that's fine. So I'm gonna cut it here. I'm gonna shave it to this line, and then we're gonna match with this piece. Okay, so I cut it on the line and it's clamped there. So now we can put this here. And my line that I marked before is more or less actually where I should cut it. So I'm gonna start carefully cutting this away, and we will see where we're gonna stop. All right, I think that's pretty good here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tack these together as they are right now. Even though we have a gap here, that's fine. We're gonna tack them together, then we're gonna take the piece out and we're gonna weld them from inside and from outside to create a lot of meat like before, and then we can put it here again and we can grind it to make a continuous shape like this. All right, I think that's pretty good. So I kept a sharp edge here. I ground it this way and I ground it this way, and I kept this nice crisp sharp edge here, which shows that my line is straight. If I started rounding it before I go to this stage, it was gonna become wavy. So now I can grind it round like here and it's gonna be perfect. But I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna weld the whole thing, and then at the end we're gonna grind this as well. So I'm ready to start welding it. But first we're gonna have to weld this, don't we? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all the clickus. We said that we're gonna keep the joggle underneath. We're gonna make a joggle weld. So here, let me put some clickus and see if this will come out, because I don't want to push this in, I want to push this out. So let's see, after I put clickus, maybe I should put even more than that to hold it in the right place. Right now here we have a hole, but this shouldn't be pushed in, because that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna make a bigger hole. We have to push the bottom out. Let's see. Still, I don't know if you see from there. But still, this is too low. Only in this area. Here it is pretty good, and here. I don't know. Like this. Yeah, I can push. I don't know if you see, but I'm pushing with the pry bar. So, okay, that's how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna push from underneath a little. You go further back. I don't want to burn your lens. I was actually able to lock the pry bar. All right, I think that's pretty good. So now I can just finish welding it. Alright, so welded, but I'm really not happy because this metal welds so bad. Even though we cleaned the paint from there, put weld through primer, it just doesn't weld. Here with the weld through primer welds absolutely no problem. Here is my wire gets welded to my tip all the time and it just spits and it creates a mess. Doesn't want to start the spark, and obviously to make 3-4 tucks I have to play a lot, and then I overheat a spot, and then I cool it down with the air hose, but it only causes it to shrink. I don't know if you see, but it is a little bit sunk. So anyways, let me grind it and we'll see how bad it is, but looks like it's gonna have to be pulled a little bit. That's really bad. To pull it when we get our machine, it looks like we're gonna have a lot of work when we get that dent puller. It would be great if I could hammer and dolly it, but I don't have much access from inside because somebody made that piece there. Well, maybe I have a little bit of access. We will see. Here I forgot to drill holes for plug welds, so I had to drill them now as the piece was mounted there, so it wasn't very easy, but I managed. And here again, these plug welds were hard to make, and I'm sure they don't look great. Yeah, this one. Anyways, there's gonna be a lot of repair here on my own weld, but it's because of the metal. You don't blame the materials and the tools always. All right. That's so bad. It sunk like really badly. All right, that's how far I can go. It's not too bad. You can still see the lines and everything. Here, I'm not even bothering to grind it better than that because this is a low spot and I can't. Like, I hammered and dollied it as much as I could and it's still low. Like, it's not too low, but it's low, so. That's where we're gonna leave it. The rest is gonna be body filler. Anyways, you know what? I'm gonna consider this repair done for now. Maybe again, when we get the machine, we're gonna try and pull this out a little bit and then grind it a little bit more if we have to. But for now, I'm gonna consider this repair done. And since we have this guy, yeah, we have a new seal, we can go back to our middle section restoration here. So that's what we're gonna see in the next video. So I hope I'm gonna be able to put all this footage about this rear fender in one video, but if not, it's gonna be 2 videos with a little interruption in the middle. But we will see about that. So that's gonna be it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, thanks for commenting and subscribing. Thanks for supporting me on Patreon, even though you don't get any additional benefits. And you know that I don't give any benefits to my Patreons because I don't want to take away anything from the people who choose not to be Patreons, or they just simply can't afford it. So everything is available to everybody, no matter if they help the channel financially or not. With that said, if you are not a Patreon and you wish to become one, you can go to the link in this video and go to my Patreon page and see how you can support me, or you can just simply make a one-time PayPal donation and you can transfer that to my email, which is elin.yakov@rustybeauties.com. So with that said, guys, I'm gonna sign off and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.